I'm here at the Denver Comic Con with Thom Zahler, the creator of the webcomic Love and Capes. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Pretty good. How has the convention been treating you?
The convention's been fantastic. I've been really happy with it.
Can you tell us a little bit about Love and Capes?
Love and Capes is a superhero romantic comedy. It's about a superhero who says, I love my girlfriend and I'm going to tell her that, but if I tell her that, I have to tell her everything. So is there ever a good time to let your girlfriend know you have X-ray vision? What does she want for Christmas when she knows you can crush coal into diamonds? Things like that.
And how did you first get interested in making comics?
I was dropped on my head a lot when I was a kid. I did a header out of a shopping cart, and that was kind of it. My parents used comics as a reward system when I was growing up, and I was reading from a pretty early age. So it was clean your room, get a comic. And my parents had a very well-behaved child, and I had a lot of comic books. And it's just, I've always known I wanted to do this. I can't remember ever wanting to be anything else.
What got you into making Love and Capes? What was the inspiration?
It was kind of what if I had this chocolate and peanut butter moment where I realized I wanted to do another book after I did a book called Raider. It was an action-adventure book. I liked it. It was a hard sell and probably wasn't the thing I should be doing, but I had characters who were bantering, and I'm like, I want to write funny. And I want to do something kind of cartoony and something a little shorter. So for me to take a superhero book and kind of bleed some of the heroics out of it, leave you with just a relationship, if they let me write Superman and I did that, you would be upset that Superman's not punching anything. But taking a step sideways, you can get away with that.
And did you try to play up the stereotypes of a superhero relationship, or did you want to go your own way and do it for serious?
I decided early on that it was going to be a stable relationship. It wasn't going to be the kind of relationship where you're wondering if they were going to get together. The question is, how were they going to make it work? So I did play up a lot of the superhero archetypes, but on page 5 he reveals his identity. So all the lying to your girlfriend stuff was taken away, but to me that was the most interesting place to start, because you love this woman and you say, I trust you, but I've been holding this one big secret back. In the Superman comics, and I think they did it for production reasons as much as anything else, but he gets engaged to Lois, and then 6 months later he tells her he's Superman. And it seems to me that that's the conversation you have when you get engaged. By the way, I'm Catholic, I vote Republican, and I'm a superhero. You know, whatever. You lead with that stuff. You know, oh, remember how you're going to spend the rest of your life with me? I kind of fight crime too.
Did you also try to play the stereotypical hero in some cases?
To me, when I write the superhero characters, they're very much the George Reeves Superman type, where the dangers they faced were real, but they never seemed concerned about them because they had faced them before. There was always, George Reeves had this great way of just, whenever somebody would tell him something was going to blow up, he was very much I'll take care of it, Miss Lane. And I wanted to do that where the heroes don't freak out. This is kind of their job and they're used to it. And that was the level I tried to play with as far as that. I've taken a lot of the stereotypical superhero plots and applied them to the book. I've kind of done Secret Wars, I've done body switches, I've done the girlfriend getting superpowers, and I try to put very much the relation-focused spin on it.
Can you tell us a little bit of your process when you create one of your posts of your webcomic?
I get my best ideas in the shower, so I have shower crayons, and I write them down, and then I write my water bill off. I'm obsessed with idea capture, and I have notebooks and Post-it notes all over the house, and I really do have bath crayons because stuff happens. I write and draw an entire page. The book is designed to act as a print comic and a web comic, so it's a 2x4 panel grid format. Every fourth panel is some sort of beat or emotional note or funny joke, so that when it posts in 4-panel increments, it feels like a complete story, like you've read a chunk. But when it stitches together, it reads as a complete book. And what I'm very heartened by is the number of people who tell me that they've only read it as a comic book, and they didn't realize I was doing that. Comedically, it's a metronome for me to go, be funny, be funny, be funny again, be funny. So generally, I work on some client work during the day. I'm also a graphic designer, cartoonist, and illustrator. And then during the day, I'll work out the plot for the page. I've got an arc of where the book is going, but I don't always know exactly how every twist and turn will get you there. And then I'll write, draw, letter, ink, and color a page a day. Some of it is that I have a process where I'm reusing backgrounds. It's very animated style, painterly backgrounds that the better I've gotten, the more I've done, the better I've gotten, the more layered they are. So now I can remove a bookcase or put somebody on a stairwell and not have to redraw things. So because the book is a lot of straight-on shots, it keeps it pretty centered in terms of presentation. Not a lot of crazy layouts because you don't need that dynamism of a superhero book. You're actually shooting more like a sitcom.
Recently, you ventured into the realm of My Little Pony in their micro series.
Yes.
How was it doing these characters, drawing, working on these pony stories?
Oh, it was great. It was very different because when you write for yourself, you have a very closed process. With My Little Pony, I had to write a script, and my scripts are honestly on Post-it notes where I'll write down enough for me to remember what it is. When you're working on somebody else's property, you have to give them enough to let them know that is a real thing. I wrote the script. I did a second draft when the studio came back with some changes, or Hasbro came back with some changes. I was doing pencils and sending them off, where because I'm doing the entire book in Love and Capes, I can get away with saying, oh, I know there's going to be a background there, and I don't have to prove it to anyone. But with this, I had to generate all that to do it. It was great to be part of that franchise. I'm hoping to do some more work for them. I liken it to Star Trek, where it's a fan base that is very loyal and has a lot of passion, and they understand the characters. The nice thing about My Little Pony is those characters are so well defined. When I was doing my research and catching up on it, it was very easy to pitch for them because you know how they will react in a given situation.
Would you ever consider doing other name characters for other companies?
Sure. The question is will the companies consider me? Yes, there are characters I would love to get my hands on. I would love to write Captain Marvel for DC. I'd love to write Metamorpho for that matter. But yes, I would like to. I have this theory about art that the people who are most interesting at doing art are the ones who bring sensibilities from some other place. That if you worked in advertising, you bring a very designy aesthetic to your work. You see people like Darwin Cook who cut their teeth in animation and then came back and did comics, and they have that very much as a thing. And I think someone like me who has written outside the edges of the typical comic book universe could come in to a company and do some interesting superhero stuff that's not completely what you've seen before. I would love to write fight scenes and menaces and all this stuff that happens in a traditional comic book, but I also think I could bring some nice character to it.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us, and I hope you have an enjoyable convention.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad to do it.